Hi guys, welcome to the Evolving You with Slondy Maps. If you're new here, welcome. But if you're a returning listener, Sanmunani, Ma'e, and welcome back to another episode. As you guys can see from the title of the video, Angha today. I'm not alone. Once again, I bring only the best of the best of the best to this channel. I have the one, the only, the amazing, the handsome Mawanda Maphumulo.
Wow, what
My
do you
brother.
want? She always wants something from me. So what do you want?
Welcome. I don't want anything, Mawanda.
What's up, guys?
Guys, you know, we bring only the smartest people on this channel. You know what we're about.
Pressure as we start.
Yes, you must get the pressure because most khuluma nathi mele ube kwi-level yethu manje thina we're on high levels. I was 2000.
I'm at 2000 on high levels. Hey,
Yes.
I'm not say anything before I get cancelled.
Go guys chat you, please.
I'm not say anything.
But as you guys saw from the title, today we're talking about career versus your passion. This is a very interesting topic, and I have good reasons for why I brought this beautiful human being next to me.
Why bring me for that topic?
Because I just love your opinion when it comes to things like this. When it just comes to careers and just like, the business aspect of things and just, your view of life, basically.
All right, let's go.
But before we go into it, you know how we do it. We have to define these things before we unpack and start actually having the conversations, and I start drilling him with questions. So my definition of a passion is something that you can do for hours and hours on end, and it just lights you up. You love it, you enjoy it. It ties into like your gift. It works together with your gift, it's your passion. It's what you enjoy and you love doing. And when I say career, I don't know if I use the right word for it, but I mean like a corporate job. And that's not to say a corporate job can't be someone's passion, right?
Okay.
But
Or
I
maybe
mean
not
like
a job in general.
a job in general.
Okay.
That's your career. So the first question that I have, not basically question, but just like a conversation starter, is your view on like growing up in Black communities and how they view career and passion. And how do you, in our society nowadays, how do you break that cycle? Because when you grow up in a Black family, you're taught that most people, not everyone, you're taught that you're supposed to grow up and become a doctor and become a nurse, and you're supposed to have a corporate job. Like you can't work as a singer, you can't work as a content creator. Like that's not something that you can do permanently full time.
Okay.
So what's your viewpoint on that part of it and just growing up in Black communities?
You ask a question, but it's still such a broad question in terms of it. But in this case, I can speak from my perspective. Mm-hmm. I can say, even though I'm very young, I'm very young. Understanding job and the career space was really based on the school that you went to or how exposed your parents were. That will determine whether they are into certain industries or careers. When I was coming up to say, hey, explore that and have a look at that. Because I think in society, obviously, there was a moment where certain jobs were deemed more prestigious. And I think it comes from a good place because your parents obviously want you to have the best from what they knew was the best, which would maybe, be in our cases, which is, at that time, it was obviously jobs like either in accounting, being a business owner, a doctor, something in maybe the IT space, but even the IT space wasn't that big and popular at that time. And I think I'd rather say more creative or creative entrepreneur jobs were not seen as things that would be, I'd rather say profitable. I don't think it had to do so much with whether they wanted you to do it or not. It had to do with, we want the best for you and we want you to have a much better economical stance than we ever did. So I think that came from there because also at the time, there wasn't that much internet, there wasn't that much information. There were a lot of things that are careers now that were not even careers back then. Or 1 in 10 will make it as a photographer. Whereas now, a lot more people, for example, can make it in that field. So I think I have compassion. I have compassion because with the limited information that they had, they obviously want the best for you, and the best for you had to do with the careers that they had. So that's where the compassion comes in. And I guess the flip side of it is that it sometimes did box a lot of people to try and get into spaces where they are studying things that they don't love or things that they're not gifted in, or things that they won't have a long-term career in because it was more about what my parents said rather than what I wanted.
Okay, I love that you started with that. But another thing I wanted to highlight that I didn't put out is the reason why, when I thought about this topic, the reason why I wanted you specifically for this topic is because most people probably won't know this, but because I am your sister, I see it. But I feel like you're the perfect person for this because I've seen how you've taken your gift and made it a career. So, and you didn't start off like that. And knowing the environment that we both grew up in, it didn't always seem like something that was possible, something that was encouraged from our family members or people that didn't see the vision that you had. But you were able to still push through and be persistent and not listen to all of those opinions and whatnot, but see the light in your gift that you have been given. And you've put that into play into your life whereby it's actually a career and you're doing so well in it. You can take care of your family and you're making financial means like with it, and you're making like a good life for yourself with it. So that's why I wanted to bring you specifically to talk about it. So also just so people can see it's doable.
Okay.
Like you can do it. And a lot of people are doing it out there and they're living their lives daily. You don't need to be this famous influencer or 100K followers in order for your gift to make room for you.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I think thank you for that. I think it's interesting that you say it that way. Okay, what is your question? I have a thought, but I don't want to jump into it.
Okay, the question that I had next was in terms of just you starting off, like how did you block out the noise and still be disciplined enough to know, Wuti, this is what I want to do permanently for myself?
Okay, I get what you're saying. What a multifaceted question, but what a good question all at once. I think there has to be a balance of obviously you have what you're gifted with. What your gift is just something that God put in you that is specifically yours, and you kind of have a natural talent towards it, but you do have to nurture it, you do have to develop it, you do have to work towards growing that. Just because I can sing doesn't mean I'm an amazing singer.
Yeah,
I
true.
do have to train. I do have to go for vocal training. I do have to understand, depending on obviously where I want to take it. You know, so I think that's one. Two, being curious is very important. So even though I know that I either have this thing that I'm passionate about or this thing that I'm good at, how can I be curious and put myself in a situation where I am learning about it every single day? I learn about the creative innovation and the media industry every day. No matter a day does not pass where I watch a video that's going to empower me in terms of entrepreneurship and everything else that I do. And then I think the third one is community. They're not obviously in order of importance, but I'd say the third one is community, because community is very big in terms of helping you nurture the gift that you have. Again, like you're saying, that not all environments are going to be conducive for you to grow your gift, because not everybody is going to believe in what you believe in. Like it's often said that when God gives you a vision, it's for you. And I think sometimes we always want to force other people into our vision and they don't see it. There's a reason why God will show you and frustrate you with that. There's a reason why you're frustrated by the poor healthcare system in South Africa. The reason why I'm frustrated about it is because maybe God gave you that frustration so you can come up with a solution. So we often want to take our passions and our visions and put them into people. Yes, we need people to support us along the way, but it's for you. So when you understand that it's for you, then you understand that not everybody is meant to believe in it. When something is for you, not everyone is going to see it. You might point and see, yo, guys, I see it. There it is. But the person right next to you might not be able to see it. But you want to be in a community of people that are able to say, yo, we don't fully see it, but we see you and we see how passionate you are. And how can we help you and how can we help cultivate you towards getting towards that vision? So I think, yeah, what helped me was I had youth at church. I had a group of friends that I was with. We were like, yo, I see this. We want to try it. Let's go for it. And even though maybe the home situation or parents didn't understand it, which I have compassion for again, it was okay because I had a community of people that I can always bounce back to while being respectful to my parents, to say, yo, let's grow this and let's try this. Like community really, really plays a big part. Like the whole thing of show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It's not cliche.
It's not.
It's as true as it is. If you have 5 broke friends and you're the 6th one, that means you are going to be the 6 broke friends. Like it's really about the people that you hang around with, the people that you share your thoughts with, and yeah, the people that you share life with. That's important. I think I missed something.
You missed something. No, it's okay. You actually answered the question that I asked you. But another one that I do have is, I don't know if everyone believes in this or is it just me, but is it, people often say, Uti, in order for you to be amazing at something, you need to hyper focus on that and be disciplined and keep on pushing and be persistent on that one thing. But there's often this like rumor, Uti, you need to find a balance between corporate and your gift. So in terms of, do you believe that someone should find a balance between corporate and your gift? In terms, now I'm talking about in terms of like financing your gift. Because obviously, if you want to grow it and you want to be somewhere, let's say, for example, you want to be a dancer or a singer, you need money to invest in a camera, to invest in this, to push that career, to invest in learning new things, to invest in growing that gift and feeding it. Or do you believe, Uguti, people can leave their jobs and focus on that one thing until it grows to be something amazing and great?
Yeah, good question. I think people's circumstances in life differ. I think it's important to know where you are and start from where you are and then grow from there. So, what do I mean by that? For example, for myself, I was in a space where I was forced to work. Not forced to work, but I had to work. I had to work. I had to help look after myself, look after you guys. And I had to help mom. And as much as I was passionate about media, I was passionate about dance, the entertainment industry, content creation at the time, I also had to be realistic that if I don't eat and if my family doesn't eat, then how am I even going to be able to pursue that, right? So I would work, I remember one of my jobs when I worked in telecommunications with Huawei, I worked 6 days a week. I was only off on a Monday, never off on a weekend for 3 years in a row. But every time after work, I would either go to a dance session or I'll be doing something in media. I would rather sacrifice sleeping late and still be great at my job while I'm cultivating my gift, right? So I think that's part one is our situations differ. I think if you are in a position where you do have the financial means and you have supportive parents, I think make the most of that, right? You have a responsibility for yourself and towards the people that are supporting you to make the most of the resources that you are given, because they are doing their best to make sure that you start from there onwards. So obviously have a path and identify the. I think also sometimes you just focus on. There's so many things I want to say. Sometimes you just focus on having the gift and not identifying where your gap is and how does that gift work best for you. So just because I can sing doesn't mean that I'm just going to wake up and go sing R&B.
Yeah.
I need to find out, okay, how does this link to my life story? How can I be unique? Who am I serving? Who is my community? And I'm not called for everyone, but I am called for the people that I am called to. And find your gap, find your space of influence, and find how you can have the most amount of impact. And then cultivate yourself towards that so that you can make the most of your gift, right? And then going back to, if you do have supporting parents, like I was saying, make the most of that resource. Also identifying those things so that you're not just passing time. Have targets, have goals for yourself, and do hyper focus and do be realistic in that. And then for my situation, the question of sometimes not all passions are going to make you money. Right? I think also sometimes we live in a world where everybody thinks just because I'm passionate about this and I have a gift in this, not all of it is meant to make you money. Yes, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will bring you before great men. And I do think that if you exercise the principles, then yes, it will do that for you. But I don't think that for everybody, that gift is going to make room for you. Maybe you're supposed to go learn your skills, find something else that you also can grow in, something that you are good at, and have your job. But maybe you being a singer is just something that you just love. Because then what happens if you now start putting pressure on your gift and what you love to make you money, and then it doesn't, and then you start hating your gift? So maybe do that, and maybe do your best at what at what you're given. In terms of if you're in a corporate or in a certain workspace, identify something that will give you the skills to also upskill your gift. Right. So maybe some people are focused on that so that it can buy you the time to enjoy what you're doing. If you enjoy playing golf, you might not be the next Tiger Woods, but that your job or the space that you're given, if you're responsible in that, it might buy you the time to be able to enjoy your golf. But if you do have a long-term opportunity of, while I'm working, I want to grow into my gift, then take the skills that you are learning in the business or in the company that you're in and do your best in that, so that by the time you have to go full-time into your gift, you have at least learned the things that you need for your gift. For example, just because I'm going to be a great, I don't know, just because I'm going to be a great videographer, doesn't mean that where I am, I can't learn communication, I can't learn business, I can't learn how to pitch, I can't learn how to budget, I can't learn ABC, so that I can come here and be great at videography. So sometimes we hyper just focus on being a great videographer that we forget to learn skills where we are. But also some people's journeys are different. Some people are just meant to be great at that, and things will find them in that space. So I think identify where you are. Identify what you are and identify how God wants to help you fulfill that for yourself.
Hectic. That was so deep and loaded. I caught me myself from you just speaking. I'm learning so many things. So what you're saying is basically for some people, use the career path that you have and the job that you have, and you can use that to feed into the gift that you have too.
Yeah.
And not just rely on only the fact that you have the gift. Because I think what most of our generation does is like, I have the gift to be a singer, amazing singer. So that means automatically I'm going to be famous, I'm going to make money, and I'm going to succeed in that. But it's like, how many amazing singers are there in the world?
Exactly. Plus also, I think, not to cut you, we also have gifts. I think also people like to identify the one gift
The one
and they only
gift.
cultivate that one gift, but they forget that God has given us more than one gift. It has a S. We have gifts. So I might be great at singing, but I also might be great at communicating. But also I might be great at connecting with people, but also I might be great with numbers. So I really do understand that it is he who chases many rabbits won't catch one, and the one who chases one rabbit will catch it. I get that principle, but also cultivate your gifts as a whole, so that while you are still trying to break into fulfilling your gift as a singer, you're at least you're growing your other gift of being a communicator. You're growing your other gift, because all of those will work together. they'll work together. So I think sometimes you just hyper focus on one and not realizing that, oh, I do have other gifts. And that's where I think you can make the most of yourself while you're in the job market. If that's your path. If your path is, while I'm working, I'm cultivating myself to eventually go full time into this. Because obviously that also comes with wisdom. If you don't have the financial support, the financial backing, you can't just say, I quit my job and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
That is irresponsible. Just based on the way you are in life, it would be nice if all of us can just say, hey, I'm quitting this, I'm doing this, and I can survive. Hooray. I think we want that for our kids. But if you're not in that space, then you do have to be responsible. You do have to go to work. Then you also do have to find the extra time, go to studio. If it means that you're finishing at 11, 12, that's the season of your life you're in. Eventually, you're going to be able to tell the story that, hey, guys, I used to work full time and I used to go to studio until 1 o'clock in the morning until I got to a space where, my career took off and I was able to gracefully leave that space and, focus on this.
What I'm also catching is that, like, with me, when you're saying, like, communicating is a gift, I think we normalize these things and we don't highlight them as gift. I think people nowadays, we see singing as a gift, dancing as a gift, photography as a gift, but we don't think being a good communicator is a gift, or being like the small things. We don't see them as gifts. We don't categorize them as gifts. So people just normalize them and just be like, oh, I can speak. But what's that?
Yeah, that is so true. It's actually not small. We have made it small.
We have.
A gift is a gift, and there is no small gift. I think it becomes small if you don't exercise it and you don't grow it. So we normalize, like, because I think also I'm talking about us being in South Africa. Us being in South Africa, we're a very expressive country. I mean, you cannot beat us when it comes to our music, our dress code, our cultural essence, etc. But also at the same time, I think it's caused a lot of people to ignore what they're gifted in because they want to focus on where the hype is instead of focusing on where your gift is. And I mean, guys, not every gift is meant to be front facing and not every gift is meant to be on a billboard. I do believe that if you are doing well and you're exercising it well, then yes, it will bring you before great men. But yeah, like you're saying, communication could be a gift. You being compassionate and seeing solutions to feed the poor could be your gift. You might just see a gap in that. Somebody else might have a gift in medicine, might have a gift in in housing, how do we change the housing situation in South Africa? I think not every gift is meant to be in the entertainment in front of people, etc. I say that because there's something so powerful where it spoke about purpose. I was actually at a ladies' meeting at church, and I found it so interesting that I think sometimes people look down on the roles they play in terms of their mission because they are not front facing and they feel like the next person is more important because they have the mic or they're always talking in front of church. But you might find that part of your purpose and your mission is being a great mom to your kids. It's not going to be on the billboards. It's not going to be front facing. Not everybody's going to see it. But if that is one of the callings that God has brought you to, that is just it. And somebody else might find that they are great when it comes to prayer. It's behind the scenes when somebody has a challenge, they know that if they come to you and you stand in faith with them in prayer, God will pull through for them. And you might find that that's just part of where your calling is. It's not front facing, it's not glamorous, it's not in front of everybody, but that doesn't mean it's less important than the person who's in front who has the mic or who's on a billboard.
Yeah, hectic. But I think just now that we are closing off the video, another thing that I wanted to mention is that with my generation, what I've noticed in terms of my friends or just people around me that are my age, is that there's this thing whereby there's a certain level of excitement of like, well, naturally when you're in high school or you're still like, in school and you haven't been exposed to like a lot of things in the world, there's a certain level of just being a little naive. I don't know if that's the right word, or just like delulu a bit, where it's like you're not exposed to this information where it's like you need to do this in order for your dream to do this. I'm just making an example. Maybe you're like a rapper in high school and you're famous and you're doing this and you're doing so well, and then you get exposed to the real world and it's such a shock and it's too much information, and then you lose the what's this? It's like the little sprinkle of magic like that you need, that little naiveness that you had in high school, and you mix it in with the reality and the wisdom that you've learned coming out of school and being exposed to so much information and the real world, and we lose it towards just like towards just I don't know, I don't know if it's the discipline that we don't have or if it's the lack of being like persistent. We're very quick to give up once we're exposed to like too much information or too much pressure or how much hard work you need to put in, and now it's like the dream is too far-fetched.
I get you.
So what advice would you give like some young person that's finding themselves, that's still trying to find a balance and to like take in this information that they're learning and digest it in a good way, but still keeping that passion and that drive that they had when they were not exposed to how much work you need to put in order for you to do well in your career?
That's a good question. So there's a statement that I've been grappling with for, I think, the past few months. It says, and when I say men, it means either male or female. It says, tough times create strong men create weak men, and weak men create tough times. I'll repeat it again. It says, tough times create strong men create weak men, and weak men create tough times. So it's an analogy that they've been looking at when you look at our history and how things have been going. So it means that I grew up in a tough time. I didn't have things handed to me. I worked while I was still in high school. The last time my parents bought me clothes was in grade 8. I started contributing at home from then because of the situations we were dealt with, getting evicted from places, trying to find places to stay. I'm trying to make an income through media. Then I went into the job market while still trying to get life together and being there for my family. That was a tough time for me, which created a strong man because of how I think, just the way how I see life. I don't expect things to be handed over to me. I do research. I do what I have to do, even if you tell me no. If God has ordained that for me, then God and I are enough. But I started looking at that statement that because of the life I'm creating, there is a possibility that I can create a weak man. Because my son Lino is going to grow up in a space where he doesn't have to get evicted. He doesn't have to do a lot of things. Things are already there. So in that cycle, what ends up happening is that I create a weak man because he's not going to be able to handle the things that I was not, the things that we've worked hard for. And when that happens, because he's going to be a weak man, it has the possibility of then creating another tough time. So now his kids will go through a tough time, and then his kids will then create strong men. Right? So that's not going to happen with me because I'm putting structures into place right now of, even though he might not face my toughness that I went through, but how can I create tough times in his context so that he might be able. So I'm saying that to say it's projected that generationally, our generation was a tough times generation. And I would assume that your generation might fall in the weak men generation because a lot of things, since apartheid is gone, resources are there, you're born, you don't know what it's like not to have the internet. The internet has always been there. Social media has always been there. You're born with so many resources that it just makes you chill. When we were coming up, getting data just for YouTube or creating content was the hardest thing. So, long story short, I think identify what generation you're in and identify the amount of resources and the amount of things you're in. And unfortunately, because you might have grew up in a space where a lot of things are available, you don't have to be a millionaire when I say that. I mean, just resources in general. That's also caused a lot of people to not have resilience because they take for granted what they have. So I think the first part is just identify with yourself. Where am I? What have I been taking granted of? What have I been throwing my toes at the cut about? And then secondly, identify where you want to go. Okay, I identify that this is where I am. Identify I haven't been taking action. I've been oblivious to what life is, but this is where I'd like to be. And then put in the hard work. Find people that are ahead of you that have been through life, and stick to them. Ask them questions, and put in the time. Do research at what you want to do. Find ways to learn how to be disciplined. Not you've learn. That's why I say learn how to be disciplined, because you might not be organically disciplined, but find ways. Just say, yeah, I'm gonna start with a simple thing. If you don't go to gym, I'm gonna start with walking. So learn what it means to be disciplined, and then learn what it is to be sold out to what you are born for. And then if you don't know what that is, then learn what that is. Spend time in introspection, identifying with, okay, what is my gift? What am I here for? What is the trajectory of where I want to go? Then, like I'm saying, find people around you that you can ask questions and learn towards that. I think another thing I really want to add about your gifting or the things that you do, there has to be an element of, if you want to be great at it, you have to be sold out to it. You have to be persistent. You have to, whether there's a resource or no resource, I can't tell you that you can't do it, even if I'm a brother. I can't. If I do tell you, it's like, all right, cool. But you should believe in yourself and in what you have, so much so that I shouldn't be able to tell you and the next person should be able to tell you. But you must still be moldable to be able to receive advice. But I should not be able to tell you you cannot do that, because all things are possible. So I think there's also that element. You do have to be sold out to it, so that when you come out and life hits you, you need to fall back on your discipline. For me, I have to fall back on the word. I have to fall back on what God has said about my life and stick to that. Okay, I'm pushing through because of that.
Yeah. Hey, cuz. Do you guys see now? Do you see? I can't, like I always tell you guys at the beginning of the video and at the end, you see what I'm talking about. You always see what I'm talking about. But that was that was so heavy. Like, if you're really listening and you're actually taking in what he's saying, like, it's a lot to take in, but everything you just said is so important. But for me also, I'm also overwhelmed because I'm learning so much and I'm taking in so much information just for myself. And hopefully someone out there also takes this in and uses it for their career and just finds a way to find yourself and find a balance and mold it into what works for you and,
That's
then,
cool.
and what you
That's
have.
cool.
But also, most importantly, just work with what you have.
Before we close, the question for you is why is this topic important for you?
Why is the topic important for me? I think for me, I'm in a place where I'm struggling to find the balance. Exactly what I was talking about. Because I have gifts, but there are certain gifts that I'd like to pursue career wise, that I'd like to have be my financial, support, and not have to be in just corporate only or whatnot. But also, I'd like to be able to, it's finding the balance between the finance to like support the gift that I have, but also not give the gift that I have the crumbs of my time. Because we are in a generation where I know, like you saying, Guti, like you'd go to work and you'd come back from work and you'd go to record after that, and you'd make sure you use any little time that you have to like record and record and record and record. But in terms of like me myself, I've noticed, Guti, it's the discipline, but also it's the I'm very weak in terms of like pushing through. So it's like trying to find a balance. Like, I just finished school and trying to figure out whether, whether I want to pursue, which path of my life I'd like to invest in right now and push through to support what I actually want to do long term. So I think this is a very important topic because I'm also trying to figure myself out. I'm also finding myself, I don't have it figured out. The things that you've said, I'm also going to take and use it into my life. That's why we have this channel. I'm always saying, Guti, the things that I speak about, it's not things that I'm good at or I very well know how to do, but it's things it's a journey as much as it is for them, it is for me. I'm also trying to learn, and I bring people like you here so you can give these conversations, give this advice to me, myself, and to people out there.
I think that's cool. I think identifying that's what you challenge with is the first part. Just going back to that, identifying that. But yeah, man, you guys have time.
We do.
Yeah, I think.
But I also feel like I'm very hard on myself. As much as I know I have time, I know these are the peak years of my life.
No, I'm not saying in time in terms
Time
of
is
that. So
what?
I'm talking about like.
In a day.
You guys have time in a day. Like,
yeah, we do.
In a day, I'm realizing I'm becoming that person who now says, in my time, I used to. And I'm like,
you are.
Yeah, like, but I don't think it's fair. But I also do think it's fair because somebody said that to me.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, I think man, you guys have time, man. Like, shucks. But I also think you guys have, the statement is, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. So if you don't know the purpose of your time, then you're going to abuse it. That's why you have time. So I think that's what I'm realizing, Guti. Either being in spaces that really help you identify who you are and the different ways that you can serve. Because at the end of the day, it comes back to that. It's all about, I believe that in the long term, it's all about serving people. Whether it's serving people through in your career, whether it's serving people through your gift, where it's all for serving people. If you focus on that, then I think that your worldview will change if you understand that it's serving. Even if you have a boss and you work in a business, you might be in the part of the business that is HR and it's serving the people that are coming to thing. Or I might be an editor and it is serving the guys that went to shoot. I am serving even in the business. But long story short, I'm trying to say that I think that you guys are in a generation where people are one, there's a lack of identity, and with the lack of identity also comes with a lack of understanding what my purpose is, and also a lack of understanding what my gifts are and how I'm meant to serve people with my gifts. I think if you don't understand those fundamentals, then you are going to abuse time because you're not sure where to apply the things that you have. So that's why you have a gift, you pursue it, then you're like, then you chill back because you're not sold out with how you're supposed to serve people with what you're given.
True.
So if you're not sold out, then you don't have a sense of urgency. Like right now, if I had to give you 100,000 rand and I told you that you need to get to Joburg and Soweto in this neighborhood by 10 o'clock tomorrow, because if you don't, those people will die, and that's money for ransom. You know exactly where you're supposed to be, why, and how. So you have a sense of urgency. You will not wait till tomorrow. You will find a way now to find a flight, get there, order Uber, get to the place, and give those people that 100,000 rand. But I think we sit with our gifts because we don't know that there are people that are waiting for us that need to be served.
That need to be served.
So we just waste that 100. That time we're just chilling with the bag instead of knowing that I need to be SOA to tomorrow because these people need this. So what ends up happening is that I think you're in a generation where people are wasting time because they don't have those fundamentals of understanding that.
Yeah. And it's the fact that you say these things to me, and because I am exposed to people like you and I have people like you in my environment, I can, I'm aware of these things and I know them. But if I had to say the same things to people my age or my friends or people just in class or the general public, like people my age, they would literally look at you like, what are you even talking about? And that's the sad part, is that... But we're also in a generation where we're exposed to so much information.
Yo, guys.
We have so much social media. We have YouTube. We have TikTok. All this information is right in front of our eyes. It's right in front of us. And you guys didn't have these things.
But that's how it works. It's like, have you noticed at home that you get more hungry when there's no food? But when there's a lot of food, you're not that hungry?
You're not that hungry.
Exactly. So because you'll have so much of information... it's hard for people to zero down and narrow down on this is the information I should be focusing on.
Exactly.
So then people just take whatever information
They
they're
get.
given. So yeah, we're like in a very consumer driven generation where we just consume. Whereas if you understand the purpose of or the mission that you are on, if you understand your mission, then you understand ukuthi, oh, this is what I should be focusing on. Because yeah, that's another thing, understanding your mission. Because I think I've been saying this, like okay, depending on your faith, purpose and mission can be different. Because we're faith-based and we believe in Jesus and we believe in God, we understand that we all have the same purpose. And the same purpose is to make disciples of many nations. So our purpose is to just spread the good news. That's our purpose. But the gifts that we are given are our mission. So we've looked at purpose the wrong way because I came across this video. If I say my purpose is to be a singer, and God forbid one day I get into an accident and then my vocal cords I can't sing anymore, does that mean I don't have a purpose?
No.
Exactly. We just have one so that purpose, no matter what space you're in, it's always the same. But singing is my mission. It's what I use for my purpose.
So your purpose.
Yeah. So often we like, oh, my purpose is singing. And that's why people struggle, because they identify solely what they do as their purpose. So the moment they can't be in a room where they have to do what they have to do, they think that they are failing on their purpose.
And they can't do it anymore.
So if you say my purpose is to be an accountant, then what happens when God says, no, I'm moving you to be working a home shelter? That means you don't have a purpose anymore. So we've also been looking at purpose in the wrong way. No, the things and our gifts that we use, those are our missions. That's our mission that helps us spread our purpose, that helps us fulfill our purpose. That's the mission that, if I'm in the media space and this is the space I'm in, that's the mission that I'm going to use to spread the love of God and to tell people that, listen, Jesus loves you.
Yeah. Hectic.
Yeah, so our gifts are our mission, not our purpose.
Yeah. Even I need to play back this video for myself. But I think you answered my question beyond what I actually thought you would say. But thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for the platform. I hope, I hope it was a nice one for you and your audience.
No, it was amazing.
We always love having spaces like this to always have conversations. It's dope.
I trust and believe. But just like before we even close, like literally, the reason why I brought you, I could have brought anyone. There's a lot of people that are thriving in their career paths, using their gifts and using whatever their purpose is on this world. But literally, you inspire me.
Oh.
Yeah, don't get used to this. Wow. I'm joking. But I do look up to you and I'm like, you're doing so well. You're such a smart man of God that just is always, like, you're always saying the right things. Like, sometimes I ask you questions and I expect a certain answer and you always give me the most mind-blowing one that I never thought I'd get. No, seriously. Because you don't even see it from an outsider's perspective. But, like, you're so, like, in a good way, intimidating, because you're always like investing in the right things. You're always feeding yourself with the right information.
You're telling me I'm intimidating to people?
Not intimidating in a bad way.
No, I'm joking.
No, he's very sweet, trust me. But literally, I knew if I brought you for this topic, this is exactly what you would do. And I love every single thing that you've said. And thank you so much for joining.
No, thank you. I think it's still a learning opportunity for me. I think even though you brought me here, I think what you are challenged with is still an opportunity for me, because it's life and it's an ever-growing, people always think, oh, you haven't figured out. Like, no, I don't have it figured out. That's why you have conversations, and that's why I come to learn also. As much as I am speaking about what I've experienced and went through, your perspective and in the way that you ask the questions always gives me an opportunity to learn and to think to myself that, okay, how am I doing in this area? And I think that's what's nice about having conversations and about podcasts. It's an opportunity for both people to learn something and have a takeaway from it. So yeah, thank you.
That's why we're called Evolving You, because we're all constantly evolving. But thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to tell your friends, to tell their friends, to to tell their friends, to tell their friends to join in, listen, subscribe, listen on Spotify. My brother has his channel also called Creative Replay. I'll leave description down below, his social media link. You guys can go check out his channel and his content that he creates. Very nice stuff, I'm telling you. Very fun business. You're gonna enjoy every single segment that he has on the channel. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you, Lutz. Bye, guys.
Cheers, guys.